Memorial Day weekend. If you celebrate, be safe. If you're going to and buying, please get a designated driver, Uber, rideshare, or alternate ride. I have not covered this story because allegedly there's a finale that these young men, GBI findings, that they unalived themselves. You want to hear some new information in this report. The family refutes the claims of the GBI findings. So we're going to discuss what you think happened to these young men. Was it foul play? Were they followed? Was this a plan by one of the boys to unalive the other brother? Was there an accident? I tried to bring other alternate theories. Perhaps this was jealousy. One was jealous of the other one. One had a secret, and the other one, popped off, and they had an argument on. Struggle for the gun. Boom. Now I'm stuck. I can't go tell anybody. I've killed my brother, so I killed myself. I don't know. Could it be that one got tired of being with the other one? This is the reason why they tell you when the children get to a certain age, you need to stop dressing them alike, because they need to have their own identity. And you see adult twins dressing alike. It's kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to a certain age, you need to have your own identity. Could it be that people just identified them as the twins? Could it be that one of them wasn't doing well in school and the other one saw his life going ahead in a different direction? Did one of the twins want to go off and be by himself and do his own thing, and the other one couldn't handle it? He was attached to the hip. Could be that. Because you're going to find out some new information about a gun purchase and searches for how to use a gun. So I don't think, if this is foul play, these people would have used their gun. Because then you have to say there's more than one person involved in, let's say, kidnapping the boys and taking them up to the mountain and killing them. Just keeping it real. Because usually when people are out hunting people, they're looking for prey, they're looking for somebody to rob, steal, sexual assault. They have their own weapons. The only time people use other people's weapons, usually they're in their home. And they use, a bat, a knife, fire poke, or something like that. But you rarely hear of people out hunting people just so happen to take the person's gun and use it against them. That's very rare. You don't even hear stories like that when people are assaulted. Let's get down to business. Fox 5 is the source. Welcome to the Vault XL. Let's see what they have to say about the story.
Twin brothers who died in Towns County last month say they do not agree with the GBI's ruling that the twins took their own lives.
The bodies of Qadir and Nazir Lewis were found at the mountain in Towns County, about 90 minutes from their home in Lawrenceville. Fox 5's Christopher King is live in Alpharetta after speaking with the twins' aunts. Christopher.
Courtney and Russ, they say the twins had no reason to take their own lives, and they had no reason to be at Bell Mountain. And they still believe the twins were victims of foul play.
Depressing.
Samira Browner struggles to accept the deaths of her twin nephews.
It feels like a nightmare.
Back in March, the bodies of brothers Qadir and Nazir Lewis were found on Bell Mountain in Towns County. Authorities initially called it a murder-suicide, but the GBI on Wednesday ruled both men died by suicide.
No, that doesn't make no sense.
Samira says the 19-year-olds were in college. They were outgoing and happy. She does not believe they take their own lives.
Both of them was funny. They loved spending time with family.
A hiker discovered their bodies on Bell Mountain. That's about 90 minutes from their home in Lawrenceville. Samira says they had no reason to be there.
Never been to Bell Mountain.
The GBI issued a statement, quote, based on the results of the medical examiner's autopsy and other investigative findings, their deaths have been ruled suicide. The agency says cell phone data establishes a timeline from their home in Gwinnett County to Bell Mountain, and surveillance video shows no one else was with them.
GBI told us that they was not able to ping their location 30 minutes before reaching the mountains.
The family says surveillance video showed the on Hurricane Shoals Road in Lawrenceville the night they died. Sabria Bronner says the twins did not seem to act out of the ordinary.
Foul play was definitely involved.
Sabria says none of the findings in the report add up to the nephews she knew. She believes they were victims of something sinister.
I feel like they was murdered.
Now, the GBI also says Nazir had ammunition for a gun delivered days before their deaths, and internet history showed searches for how to load a gun. We'll tell you more about that at 11 and the family's reaction as well. We're live in Alpharetta. Christopher.
So a gun was delivered to, I guess, their residence or wherever they lived in one of the boys' names, and searches on one of the phones how to, I guess, load the gun. You heard it here live. And then days later, they're both dead. So some would say, as I just said, what are the odds? Buying a gun, searching how to use it, load it, and then poof, days later, you're found on a mountain 90 minutes away from your home, dead. And see, that's information that GBI didn't tell us in the beginning, because naturally when there's an investigation, they don't tell you everything. So they didn't tell the family this, because that's what they're supposed to do, is investigate. Search the area, video surveillance, trail cam, anyone in the area, anyone see anything, hear anything, talk to friends, any enemies, problems, mental problems, doctors, physicians. That's what you do. You talk to people to get an understanding of who these boys were. And as I said, I'm bringing alternate theories. I'm not here to disrespect the family in their assumption that something was amiss, because naturally they know more about these kids allegedly than we do. But the one thing I've learned as being an adult, and I say this all the time on this network because it's true, you don't know people. And you hear this all the time when it comes to true crime. Everybody has a version of that person. Well, the version I have of you, somebody else has a different version. We don't know what was going on with these children. And nobody has to announce they're going to kill themselves. Nobody has to announce that they're going to murder somebody else. It doesn't work like that. That's what you're assuming. A lot of people who are depressed, they usually would tell you they're depressed. I'm down, I don't feel good today. You know, they put maybe gloomy posts on their social media pages. Everybody navigates differently. Somebody else won't do that. Somebody else won't talk about being down, suicidal, feeling hopeless, restless, out of sorts, mentally ill. Were these boys ever diagnosed with any mental illnesses? Let's start at the beginning. Welcome to the Bald Exam. Any mental illnesses diagnosed? Bipolar, schizophrenia, alternate personalities, anger management issues, children known to be aloof, stay to themselves. What's the personality? What was the personality of the boys? One's more outgoing, one was more shy. Was there one more dominant than the other? Was there one that was a bully? Both bullies. So you have to ask all those questions. Any secrets that the boys had? Secrets on each other. So you don't know. Though they weren't acting strange, you can't go by that. They believe it's foul play. Was it foul play? And as I said, if it's foul play, then that means more than one person is involved, because the person would have to be able to, one, get them up there and then leave. And if their car was left there, then how did the perpetrators get off that mountain? Stay woke, I'm woke. You'd have to have another party. Or the person followed them. And did what? Stopped them? Tried to make it look like they got something hanging out the back of their trunk? What? Because it's nighttime when they're last seen on camera at a convenience store. Now, you got to ask, what did they buy at the store? I haven't even heard what they bought at the store. What did they get? Gas, snacks, potato chips, what? What did they get? What did they buy? What was their personality in the store? Did the clerk sense anything awry with the young men? Did the clerk see someone that looked like they were out of sorts in the store, acting peculiar? Anybody who was at the store coming and going, hanging out, getting gas, did they notice anything peculiar about the young men? Death and gloom, just asking. Naturally, the GBI, their findings is not in accordance to this family because the family don't want to accept that. And I get that. They don't want to accept that 2 children would want to be dead. I get that. That's not something of one person, let alone 2. Now, I remember a story years back of twins dying one after the other, but not together, I don't believe. I think it was an issue. One of the parents had died, and then one of the twins took his life because he felt bad, horrible that the mother was gone, but it was the mother. And then the other twin ended up killing himself after his twin killed himself, but not 2 for 1 at the same time. And you've heard of people unaliving themselves after a death or a tragedy of death. Someone passing away, maybe a relative, sister, somebody was sick, and then next thing you know, the person, they end up unaliving themselves, but never 2 at the same time. It's very strange that these 2 have a pact with one another. Let's go out with a bang. This world is not worth living. We don't have anything to contribute here. So you don't know. What are the friends saying? That's what you really need to be talking to, the friends. Because friends sometimes know things that parents wouldn't know, naturally, because people don't confess things to their parents as they would their friends, their associates. So what was the attitude at the schoolhouse? Were they attending school? Were their grades up to par? That's another thing. I haven't heard anything about their grades. Were they doing well in school? Was one flunking out, 2 flunking out? Were they on drugs? Were they taking hallucinogenics? See, you don't know. Popping pills. You start taking pills, doing mushrooms, different things. Your mind starts telling you all type of crazy stuff. What did they find in the autopsy report? Did they find any type of alcoholic beverages, alcohol content, drugs, paraphernalia, anything in the car, anything in their rooms? I don't hear any of that. So you do have to weigh all those things. What were these children doing before death? What were they doing several months up before the deaths? Their attitude, their disposition, their conversations, things they posted, things they told friends in confidence. How did they act? How did the boys treat one another? How did they treat other people? Were they dating? Were they dating girls? Were they dating boys? So you got to ask all those questions. And could this be an issue of sibling rivalry? One's doing better than the other one. My understanding is that one of them, somebody in the chat said last night, one of them had a ticket. So how are they both going to see friends if there's only one airline ticket bought? Could it be one was trying to make a getaway? He wanted to be free. I want to be detached from the hip. Because as I said, people loop twins as if they're one. They're not one. And I think a lot of parents, they get beside themselves in raising twins, triplets. You're looking at all those kids as if they are one entity. They're not one entity. They are their own unique person. And I think a lot of them feel stuck at some point because that is how people look at them. They don't even call them by their names. I think most of you know that. When they're twins, people don't even call them by their damn government name. I know this because I know people who are twins, and nobody calls them by their fucking name. It's always the twin, the twin. You seen the twins? You seen the twins? Where the other twin? You see? Because that's how they are identified. And that's how the parents and family treat them. The twins, we're the twins, as if they're joined at the damn hip. But they're not joined at the hip. They're 2 separate beings. You got to treat them like they're separate. You got to treat them like they're separate. And then next thing you know, the young people, they're caught up. They're caught up in that ideology of we are one. People don't treat us like we can think for ourselves, okay? We can think for ourselves. And I think that will become a burden at some point. Oh, they both doing well. Oh, they both went off to university. Oh, they're great. Oh, they're happy. But how do you know they were happy? Those are the boys. As I said, I bet you they were rarely called by their government names. Except for people who knew them, friends may have called them by their names. Probably had the same friends. And who's to say that one of them wasn't more codependent than the other? This one dominant, this one dominant, this one submissive, this one submissive, 2 dominant, 2 submissive, easily coerced. How do you know? We don't know them. I've never speculated. I did find the story strange, of course, when I first heard it. Out of the way, on a mountain, But I always like to wait for the details from law enforcement before I form an opinion. I don't follow everybody else. I don't jump on the bandwagon. You know, I never really gave an opinion about this story. I never covered it, but I decided to go ahead and say something now since GBI has come out with their findings. So now let's ask GBI, did you get this right? What did you find out? What are the ballistics? Is there only one gun used? Number one. Fingerprints on the gun. Do you have two separate prints on the weapon, on the bullets? Whose prints on the bullets? Time of death. What is the time frame between the two deaths? All that's relevant. What did they eat? What's in the belly? All that's relevant. Any type of opiates, drug use in the system? All that's relevant. Note left behind, relevant. Google searches, notes in phone, all that's relevant. So now here we come a little ways after the deaths. GBI says it was suicide. And even if it's suicide, whether you want to believe it or not, let's just say it is suicide. How terrible that would be that two people would agree to unalive themselves, whether they're twins, brothers, sisters, associates, lovers. That's sick. The two people can equally agree their lives are not worth living. Hey, let's make this pact. Let's go together. Life isn't worth living. When you look at this photograph of these two young men, don't know the time frame of the pictures before death, what do you see? Do you see anything? Do you see anything in the eyes of these two young men that says something's off, something's wrong? But that's the whole point. What can you see? Because it's just a photo. You have to know them. And you can't really say you know people. You could say, I thought I knew them. You know how we say, oh, I know him and I know of him? Know of means I see you in passing. I know of your name. I've heard your name, but I ain't your best friend. When we say we know them, we hang around them, their family, we deal with each other, we've got some type of courtship. But in the end, it may be you really just know of them. You don't really know them. And if this is indeed suicide, and GBI got it right, no one knew these two young men. And that would have to be very devastating for the parents and the family to think all this time they have been walking around these kids, living around these kids, having functions with these kids, sharing memorable moments with these kids, but they had no idea who the hell they had been dealing with. And that's a scary thought. It's no different than learning that you've been sleeping with a murderer, talking to a murderer, dating a murderer, related to a murderer. It's the same thing. You thought you knew them, but you didn't. This is terrible to me. Either way, it's terrible. It's terrible if they were murdered. It's terrible if they both decided to kill themselves. But if we go with the findings, why? What was so bad about life that you two said together? It's one thing to have one suicidal brother, but not two. Make it make sense. Why would two brothers want to be dead? As I said, what was so bad about life? Did these two have a secret? Did these two hold some type of secret? Did one have something on the other one? And they had an altercation. It popped off. Was one of these jealous of the other one? That's why he bought a gun? Lured the brother off. Oh, you think you're going away? You think you're going to go hang with your friends? You're not going without me. We're going together. But it ain't to get on an airplane. You see what I'm saying? Could be sibling rivalry. We've seen brothers and sisters who turn on one another, jealous, greed. One's doing more, one's more affluent, one's got more going on. Maybe one's favored more by a parents. Why him? Why her? What's wrong with me? They love you more than me. What have I done? So you don't know. And the one thing I've learned about people on the news, they don't tell everything. So someone wrote a long comment on my channel asking, what's going on with these kids? Is there something the family knows and they're not telling? Very good question. Because as I've always told you, when it comes to true crime, what I tell you, what I tell the police, and what I tell the news sometimes don't coincide. I may know what's going on, but I ain't gonna tell the police. I ain't gonna tell my friend and family. And we learn this when detectives tell us that people had variances in their versions and stories. Because people aren't expecting the versions to cross each other's paths. So they lie a little bit until they're confronted. Then they've got to clean it up. So do the family know more than what they have revealed to the news about these kids? Do they know that something was going on with these children? Have these children gotten themselves into trouble? Bingo card. I haven't heard anything about that. I've not heard of a criminal record, any type of charges of nefarious business, drug use, trafficking. Could it be these boys got into a pickle? Had they done something that they were worried was going to come to light? Maybe somebody was threatening them, telling the world, I'm going to tell the world what you did to me. Could they have assaulted someone, assaulted a female, assaulted a male? I don't know. Could it be that the boys were gay? I don't know. Didn't want the secret out. One of them was gay and the other one knew. I'm going to tell the world, we're like brothers. How could you be gay? We've been joined at the hip. We share the same womb. What the hell's going on? See, you don't know. No disrespect to the family, but they don't think, that it's suicide. So I'm just throwing out theories. If it is suicide, the motive for double suicide, it's very scary. And I am going to lean more towards one of these children turning on each other because a gun was ordered, delivered, and there were searches for how to use it. And I just find it too peculiar they would be murdered right after ordering a gun, getting a gun, and searching on how to use a gun. It's not to say the universe couldn't have brought foul play to them after ordering the gun, but I'm just speaking as an outsider looking in. That would be very odd. The universe would send a demon on their path right after they order a gun. And then you have to think about that. Come on with it, Queen, because they ain't listening. You got a gun, but yet you're kidnapped by one or two. Wouldn't you think to use your gun, pull the gun out? Say, oh, hey, I got some money. Let me reach in the glove box and get it out for you. Let's go there. Hey, brother, reach in the glove box. Give him that wallet. A broad knows there's a gun in there. Already loaded. Pull it out. Boom, boom, boom. Gunfire exchange. Now we've got to get help. Let them know, hey, these people were holding us at gunpoint, threatening us. We had a gun. We used it. So that sounds weird. They got a gun in their possession, but somebody's taking them off and kidnapped them. When they tried a gun? Stay woke. Anybody got admitted to a hospital that was shot, perhaps? Didn't explain it. Didn't sound right when they got to the hospital. See, I asked all the questions. And as I said, if it's foul play, then that means there's possibly more than one person involved. So how did the person get to these guys to get them up on the mountain? You'd have to have help, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Because you have to be able to, one, follow them or be in a car with them. And then how would you get back from that area where they're dead if their car was left behind? Lots of questions. Condolences to the family. As I said, I'm not here to dispute the findings from GBI. I'm not here to dispute the family's assertion that these two boys were murdered. You entitled to your opinion. I'm just throwing out alternate theories. I saw this update last night. I decided to share it to my community page. A caption on top of this video, throwing out alternate theories. Sibling rivalry. Secrets held. Suicidal brothers. Two brothers goofing off. One brother goofing off. Could it be one was goofing off? Playing with the gun. Others around don't know. Somebody else holds the secret to this story. Don't want to come tell the truth. Were other people there with them? Somebody was goofing off. Brother got shot. He felt guilty. Unalived himself. Just asking. Was it only one weapon used? Sibling rivalry. Somebody had a secret. Both had a secret. Both were depressed, schizophrenic, mental illness. One turned on the other brother. One didn't want the other brother to go off into the world without him. Could it be one was flunking school? Both flunking school. Both had a dirty secret. Had they done something out here that they were worried about being arrested for? Or is it foul play? That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. I will put up a poll after this live. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigAngie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats always welcome during the live stream. I will be bringing you some more shorts today. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, holiday weekend. God bless all of you. Thank you for your support and kind words pertaining to my healthcare issues. God got it. I'm a child of God. I'm leaning on faith. God is king, and I'm going to let him guide this journey. Thank you all so much for your support. And please check out my extensive library of 3,000 plus videos, plus my content on Sean Puffy Combs. The court was out today for the holiday. They will resume next week, and we will see how it goes. Sean Puffy Combs and the next participants to testify. And then tell me how you feel about what you've heard the past 2 weeks of testimonies. I think Kid Cudi brought the bang to show what people have been questioning pertaining to the RICO Act. A lawyer described it very well on Court TV. Check out their last video made. You'll get a better understanding of the RICO Act, which has arson in that act. So you can get a, because I don't think a lot of people didn't understand what the RICO Act really means. Because you're thinking it's supposed to be about more than one person. It's about acts done, which is bribery, blackmail, arson, coercion, trafficking, kidnapping. All that's under the RICO Act, if proven. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you for your time. Movie Diabolique, Sharon Stone, throwback from 1996. Check it out. Also, check out the remake made many moons ago. Be safe out there, everybody. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.